All right. Let's make Canada great again, eh? How's it going today? I think today I'm going to be running for the Prime Minister. I think this is a good time to do it. You don't have to have any experience, apparently, to be a Prime Minister in Canada. All you have to be is a drama teacher, and that's it. And you're in. So, I'm going to build my case for you. If you're an American, maybe, just maybe you want to be the 15th province in Canada. Maybe you want to join us. Maybe you want to be a Canadian. I can give you all kinds of reasons as to why you'd want to be a Canadian. I don't know if you want to go down that road. I don't know if you want me to convince you to be a Canadian, because you guys are stuck right now. You're kind of between a rock and a hard place. And all you see in the news is Trump imposing tariffs on Canadians, left, right, and center. So maybe, just maybe, we have to go back to the drawing board a little bit. And hopefully by the end of this short little presentation and our little squabble back and forth, perhaps you'll consider me as the Prime Minister of Canada. I'm not afraid of these tariffs. I'm not afraid of them. I'll explain why in a little bit. So let's just jump into my little tiny presentation. It's only a few slides, so don't get all crazy on me. Just a few slides. These are just basics. This is just basic stuff, and then I'll go to the comments and we'll talk about this. Oh, let me get rid of this little logo. Yeah, I can still see. Okay. I call it the Black Swan Rises, a reality check for Canada. This is my bid for running for the Prime Minister. So this is tailored for a Canadian audience, but you Americans can join in and watch. Just for reference, we, as in the Canadians, we buy more from the United States than, oh, that's a typo, than we do from China. As in, we buy more stuff from you Americans. China doesn't. We buy more from you. You buy more from China. China doesn't buy from you. So we spend billions of dollars buying your stuff. China spends maybe, when it comes to, let's just talk about cars. They buy maybe 100,000 cars from you guys in a year, while you guys are buying millions of cars from Europe, the Mercedes, all these other European brands. And we're buying from America. We buy more cars from America than China does from you. That's pretty clear. So does that win me over as a Prime Minister? No, but for my American audience, you kind of have to know there's a bit of a tight relationship that Americans have with Canadians, and China is not your best friend. We are. We buy more from you guys than China does, and they're always trying to hack your stuff anyway. So again, China doesn't even buy U.S. cars. Like I say 100,000, that's less than 6% of where they buy all their cars from. They buy their cars from Europe. They buy their cars from Japan. They buy their cars from South Korea. Not from you guys. So why are you getting mad at us Canadians? We buy more cars than they do. We export more oil than we consume. I don't know if Canadians know this, but we are a net exporter, meaning we don't consume as much oil as we make. We actually send it out. We sell it. Who do we sell it to? The United States of America. 99% of our exports goes to the United States. We don't sell it to China. Although now that I think about it, if I was the prime minister, I would make a deal with China, especially if the United States of America is going to play hardball with me. I'm gonna open myself up to the market and say we are open for business when it comes to our heavy crude oil, especially in Alberta. But let's just do it for all of Canada. I don't want you to think I'm biased just for Alberta, but I would open it up to the Asian markets and say we have heavy crude oil, and you might be saying as an American, but Shane, we Americans, we don't need your oil, Shane. We don't need it. It's dirty oil. It's tar sands. We don't need it. Our president, Donald Trump, just said we don't need your oil. But wait, my friends. But wait. This is why you need me here. You need me here as your greatest ally. You actually consume twice as much oil as you produce. Huh? What, Shane? What? I didn't know that. Yes. You guys are heavy consumers of oil. And not just light oil, but heavy oil. What does that mean? Well, you guys have all these cars and trucks and planes and trains and automobiles in the United States. So you guys consume a heck of a lot more than we do in Canada. What did that last one say? Oh, let's talk about the refineries. You guys have 132 heavy oil refineries, most of them in the Gulf of America. Should be called maybe the Gulf of Canada. I'm just thinking. I'm just spitballing here. You guys have 132 oil refineries, heavy refineries. What does that mean? You need heavy oil. Where do you get your heavy oil? Well, 61% of it comes from Canada. Then you get a small percent from down south, down to Venezuela, a few other places, but mostly you guys. You guys mostly do that. But you can't produce enough because all of your oil refineries rely on heavy crude, which comes to us, back to Canada, why you need us. We are a net exporter, you are a net importer, meaning like you guys need more. You guys need more than you actually produce. So let's just say you said to Canada, we don't want your dirty oil, because you guys keep calling it that. You keep calling it, it's incorrect. But let's just say you said, no, we're turning this off. You don't have the ability to produce enough oil now. And even if you said drill, baby, drill, you can't drill wherever you want because you're going to go on private land and all this kind of stuff. You're going to run into trouble. I'm telling you, you guys are going to run into trouble. You can't just go into any piece of land. Unlike us, our government owns a lot of land. So they can just say, hey, you know what? We're going to drill right here. We did our research, our due diligence, and boom, and nobody can say anything. They can just say, yeah, we're opening it up to drill. You guys can't do that. So you're kind of dependent a little bit more on us than you think. And I like you guys. I like you a lot. So again, we buy more from the United States than China, yet the United States keeps hitting us as of February 1st with tariffs. China doesn't even buy American cars, but we do. We are the ones supporting their industries. Meanwhile, we export more oil than we consume, yet somehow our gas prices keep going up. It's time to think who we're supporting. Back to my Canadian friends. The U.S. problem. They need more oil than we do. We don't need you guys. You need us. The U.S. imports more oil than they produce. They act like they don't need us, but their refineries are built for heavy crude, which we supply. Thank you very much. Even if you don't like our oil, if you don't like our oil, I should say, you can go buy from Saudi Arabia or Iran, but I'm going to say good luck with that. It's time to stop treating Canadian oil like it's a second-class resource. The refinery trap. Why U.S. just can't replace Canadian oil? Like the U.S. has 120, it's actually 132 oil refineries, but most of them are optimized for heavy crude, not their own light oil. That's why they import so much from Canada, Venezuela, and the Middle East. If they want to replace our oil, they have two bad options. These are bad options for our American friends. Buy from Saudi Arabia or Iran. Good luck explaining that politically. Say you don't want to use our dirty oil in Canada, even though your refineries are built for our oil, heavy oil. Explain that the next time people go to vote, that you decided not to continue buying oil from us, which you've been doing forever, and you're going to go to Iran, Russia, which is unstable right now. You're going to explain that to them. Spend billions of dollars. This is the other bad idea. Spend billions of dollars reconfiguring refineries, which means years of work, which even if you decided to rebuild these refineries so that they can handle it, you still can't produce enough oil. So we hold the cards. So this is my plea to Canadians. Make Canada great again. Let me put this up to full screen. Canada, the plan to stop being pushed around. Cut the tariff games. If the U.S. taxes our goods, then we hit back harder. And what do I mean by hit back harder? I'm going to explain it to you. A, assert energy independence. Sell more oil to China. Diversify our buyers. N, negotiate from strength. We have what they need. No more weak deals. A, axe the housing crisis. Ban foreign investors from controlling our real estate. And I know you guys have issues with that too. D, defending our economy. Stop U.S. companies from treating Canada like a piggy bank. I know Trump wants to put banks, American banks, in Canada. Can't have that. Absolute leverage. A, use our oil, mineral, and resources as bargaining chips. It's time for Canada to play to win. Play to win. So, you guys need our oil because you consume way too much unless you guys are willing to cut back. Here's another thing. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I was just reminded of this when I was doing a little bit of my research. You need heavy oil for, let's just say, 3 or 4 major industries. Trains. You need to transport a lot of your goods and services via trains. Trucking. Use diesel fuel. Jets, airliners, planes. You need jet fuel for all that stuff. You need heavy oil. That's where that comes from. It's not from light oil. It's from heavy oil. And you also need it for your military, your tanks, your planes, all that kind of stuff. You need heavy oil for that. So if you're planning to be the biggest and baddest in the world, and you need to build your military because you want to, like, what's his name? Pete Hegseth. He's like, I promise you, we will make other countries blink. So he said, blink the next time they think to come against us. Why? Because we are going to be an industrial complex like you've never seen before. In fact, we are going to be building the 6th generation B-51 B-21 bombers, stealth bombers. These are the latest and greatest at a price tag of, you guessed it, $465 billion per plane. So you want 100 of those bad boys. Maybe it's 1 million. It's actually 465 million per plane, because the plane that went down in Alaska was about $21 million. So these B-21 stealth bombers, 465 million. You want 100 of them. What do you think they run on? Air? No, heavy oil. You need us. You need us to help you build your military might. Let's shake hands together. Let's help you. Let's help you do that. Still not winning you over? My American friends, why you need us Canadians, and why my Canadian friends need me to be the Prime Minister, because I'm going to hit them hard. I'm going to hit them hard. How would I hit them hard with tariffs, Shane? Because tariffs are horrible for Canadians. Well, if you understand how tariffs work, you wouldn't say that. Actually, they're hard on you guys, my American friends. What does that mean? If I charge you $1 for whatever, this pen, $1, and you buy it in America, you bought a Canadian pen, your government, Donald Trump, will charge you $1.25, and they'll take the 25 cents and put it in their account. So the store, to make up that loss, because they bought it for $1.25 from us, even though we charge you only $1, will mark up that price. So this pen will now be $1.30, $1.50 to make up the difference for what they lost, or maybe even $1.50, because they were hit across the border at the 25% tariff. That's not us. We're not feeling the heat. We're not going to feel the heat on that. You Americans are going to feel the heat almost overnight. Why? Because you need our oil. That's the problem. Your pumps are going to go up crazy. Not us. Not today. But the argument is, with tariffs, is like, Shane, but if the tariffs, we got to hit them hard with tariffs. No, you don't. What you do is you reduce the tariffs. What? Not one single politician in Canada is saying this? You reduce the tariffs. Why? It causes the Americans to buy from us now. Why? Because it's cheaper. It's cheaper in Canada. It's cheaper. They'll want to do business in Canada. They'll want to move their office to Canada because our tariffs are low for our American friends. And yes, we're going to suffer a little bit. It's going to be like, oh, they're not buying enough of our oil yet. But we're warm. We're warm. Meaning, if they get some kind of a cold snap on the east, they're going to consume more. And they're going to pay for it because the tariffs are coming in. That goes to you, my American friends. That goes to the consumer. So all us Canadians have to do is just brave the weather and brave the idea that you guys aren't buying as much, even though deep down inside you guys need our oil. You need to buy from us. That's just oil. Let's talk about lumber. We got a lot of soft lumber for you guys, and you guys have been buying quite a bit of lumber. If you think about all the lumber, I believe you guys make, my numbers could be off a bit, but you guys, what is it, 50%, just over 50%, you're able to produce your own lumber, but you need more lumber than that, so you use us, and we actually sell you our soft lumber at a discount. We've been doing that for a while. We've given you guys a discount with our lumber. So why do you need our lumber as our American friends? Why do you need our lumber? Well, it's because you guys reduced all your sawmills. You closed them down in the 2000s. You shut all your sawmills down, a majority of them. You closed them down. Why? Because you were getting such a good deal on the lumber from Canada. You have our lumber. So you said it doesn't make sense dollar-wise to keep these sawmills running. So we're going to let all these people go, and we're going to make more money because we'll buy cheap lumber from Canada, even though it's like grade A lumber. Like, it's like the best lumber in the world. But we're selling it to you at a discount. So I say, you know what, as Canadians, no more discount for you guys. No more discount. You don't think you need any more wood? Look to California. You guys need a lot of wood. You guys had your whole forest decimated. Homes, over 100,000. You can argue almost 500,000 homes decimated. Where are you going to get that lumber from? Us Canadians, we got good lumber, man. And you know what the difference is, again, between us and you guys? Is our government, like them or not, we can open up forests and we could start chopping down those trees, whereas you guys can't because you went green. You guys went green. You have environmentally protected forests that you can't touch on American soil. You guys did that. You voted that stuff in. We don't have those rules here, meaning it doesn't get interrupted. We can chop down forests left, right, and center, and we can plant more trees than we take out. So we're okay. We can build homes, all this kind of stuff, and we could reduce the tariffs so that maybe you want to build here. Maybe you want to buy more of our wood, all this stuff. Even though Trump is going to charge you more for our lumber, 25% right across the board for our lumber. And he's going to try and convince you that you don't need us, even though your forests were decimated on the Pacific region. You don't need our wood. It's a waiting game now. We don't have to charge you guys tariffs. We don't have to come back at you and go 25% because that's going to hurt us. That's going to increase our prices if we put tariffs on you guys. So instead, let's reduce the tariffs against our American friends. And you guys may or may not see the difference in wanting to switch over to buy American. That might not be enough because you're going to see your prices from us, from our wood going over to you, oil at the pump. You're not going to have a decision. You can't say I'm buying Canadian, I'm buying American oil versus Canadian. You're going to be affected at the pumps. But you might be able to look at different prices for lumber. Your lumber might be cheaper than Canada, but you won't be able to produce as much homes as you actually need. So that's the problem right now that you guys face. All we have to do is just wait and just go, yeah, it's going to hit us because they're buying less. But deep down in our soul, we know you guys need more oil than you actually realize you need, whereas we don't. We actually export more oil than we use. So that gives us a little bit of a buffer to say, yes, let's just wait. We're not the ones putting the prices on the consumer. It's your president that's doing this to you guys to make you buy American. That's all it is. It's not a bad thing per se. It just means your cost of living is going to go up if you continue to buy our stuff. You can switch over, but let's just say you go over to this lumber mill and there's no more wood, like the builders, and they're like, we don't have any more wood from Canada. Okay, let's buy American while we're out because the Canadian lumber is too expensive. It's too expensive. Well, I guess we have to buy the Canadian lumber because the Americans can't keep up with it. So now you're wrestling with buy American and all this stuff. And again, we're not the problem. China's not buying your stuff. You're buying more of their stuff. We're buying stuff from China, but we're buying a lot of stuff from you guys. So if you want to talk about deficits, we've been selling our lumber to you guys cheap. You want to talk about, let's talk about grain. You guys are into heavy farming. You farm a lot of land. You got a lot of territory to cover. What kind of fuel do you think runs those tractors? Heavy oil. Okay, let's just forget. Let's just say we solved all this stuff. Now what are you going to do when it comes to canola oil? Who happens to be the largest exporter of canola oil in the world? I wonder. I'm going to give you one guess as to the country that exports the most, the finest, and the most, and the best, and the most when it comes to canola oil. That's us. Why do you need canola? Well, obviously for baking, all kinds of stuff. You need it. You consume a lot of food, my American friends. You eat a lot. I know. I went to Phoenix. I'm like, you guys eat really well. Like, I was full. My tum-tum was very full. But if it's too expensive for you to farm, you're going to start having to cut costs and all this stuff. But all you have to do, like, you're hitting your own restaurants with this tariff because now they have to buy canola oil from us. How about the potash? If you guys want to grow your crops, you're going to need potash fertilizer. Where does that come from? Well, a lot of it comes from Canada. I don't know if you guys knew that, but we got a lot of it. But now that's going to be an expense to you guys as well. It's going to be an expense. And what about the eggs problem? The avian flu that you guys have. We were in Phoenix. There were no eggs. Decimated eggs. You guys are killing hundreds of thousands of chickens. For us Canadians, we have enough eggs right now. Actually, we're thinking, you know what? We're going to bump up. We should bump up the chicken farmers. We can now charge what we want for eggs to our American friends. Why? Because they need eggs. We don't. Hey, Trump, it's business. It's the art of the deal, man. We don't need eggs. You need eggs. So we're going to charge you a little bit more for your eggs because that's what your president would do to us. Right? You guys need eggs. So if I was thinking about farming today, I would be a chicken farmer. Why? There's going to be a huge surplus of a need for eggs in the United States of America. And I would stop buying poultry from America. I would just say, sorry, we got to give this a little bit of a rest, guys, until you guys figure this stuff out. Get your vaccines all sorted in regards to your chickens. Figure that out. We're not buying American chickens anymore. What? You're not buying American eggs? No, because you guys got an avian flu. We don't want your eggs. Say no to the eggs. I should have a t-shirt. No to the eggs. So, my whole point in saying this stuff is you kind of need us a little bit more than you think. You kind of need us a little bit more. If you reduced consuming and you reduce the idea of being a military superpower, then you can say, you know what, we're totally independent. We don't need any other country like Canada to help us out when it comes to heavy oil. It's those heavy oil refineries that you have a problem. You didn't convert them over to help you out. You didn't do that fast enough, and you can't do it. It's billions of dollars out of your pocket in order to do this, and you're talking years away. This doesn't help you today. So now you're stuck. You put tariffs on. They're positioning it like they're putting tariffs on us, but they're not. They're actually putting it on you, the consumer. It's not us. It's you guys. You'll know it. Call me in a week or two, and you'll be like, you're right, Shane. Everything went up. All our eggs, everything went up. Our government would make a mistake by matching you guys with tariffs because our prices are going to go up crazy. So the idea that we're going to match you guys with tariffs is insane. Don't do that. Just lower the tariffs. That way we're not feeling the heat on that. Yes, we may not sell as much stuff, but eventually it'll catch up. You guys will buy from us again because we have good products. We have the products that you guys need for your Air Force, for your boats, your ships, your battleships, your cruisers, your aircraft carriers, even though it's nuclear. All the stuff that you need to transport all the goodies, you need our oil. You need it. This is what we do. This is why we're great at it. We have it right here. All you have to do is just ask us. Get rid of the tariffs. Gonzo. So yeah, our government could pose the thing and say, guys, this is going to be crazy for us. It's going to cause inflation for us. No, hold on. No, it may not right away. In fact, what will happen is Them, if we can just hold out a little bit longer than the Americans, they're going to turn and eat themselves. As in, they'll turn on their own government. They'll say, hey, this is not what we signed up for. The Canadians are fine. What did you tell us? You said tariffs were good for us. Well, it's good for the government because the tariffs go into the government's pockets, not yours. But the people that are buying the products from us, you have to charge more in order to sell it to your customers. So your customers are going to be forced buy American, and there's not going to be enough for you guys because you're going to run out. You're going to run out of oil when you need it. And you guys are going to suffer through this a little bit. It is a game. It is a patience game. It's, can we suffer through the idea of losing money, but we're warm? Or can you guys suffer through the idea of potentially going to a pump where the pump is either so much for gas or it's empty? Or in the East Coast, you go through one snowstorm and you watch the price go because you need your furnace, you need everything running. It's going to be an interesting. And I don't think the answer is a trade war. Because, again, if we match you guys and put 25 tariffs, we're out to lunch as well. It's going to hurt us. So this is why the tariffs are going to hurt you guys first before it hurts us. Because you're going to see it first at the pumps. Our government's trying to match because it gets money into their pockets. If they go, we're going to hit them back 25%, that means the money coming in when we buy our stuff from you goes into our government's pockets. So who's in it for you guys? Who's in it for you guys? That's the question, right? These tariffs, yes, they will make the government rich. Yes, good job. Good job. You guys are going to, your government is going to be rich, but is that what you guys want? We don't want that. We don't want to put tariffs on you guys because that makes our government rich. We just want to be able to trade and to deal, and you guys need our lumber. You need water as well. Shane, we don't need your water. We got lots of water. Well, California is using our resources from Quebec to purify the water there. They can just say we're delaying purifiers and all kinds of whatever you guys are buying from Quebec, they're supplying it to you. And you guys are going to be running into a situation in California where you need more water, especially if another fire like this happens again next year. So we're not your enemies. We're like you. Our government wants to get rich. Your government wants to get rich. I think the people need to be able to make deals. Our province can make a great deal with our American friends. It'd be nice if we actually went independent, but I don't think we're brave enough to do that just yet. But I hope that puts something into perspective. Like, we can go on and on. Like, let's just say our American friends said, you know what? Even though we need twice the oil that we actually produce, we're not buying oil from you guys, Shane. And 99%, or is it 61%? No, 99% of our oil is purchased from you guys. So what if we changed our eyes and went to China? Because we have a Trans Mountain pipeline that goes right to BC. We have it now. So what if we just open up the doors and just put a open for sale, open for business sign on the coast of BC and said, hey, China, Asia, South Korea, Japan, if you guys want heavy crude, because we know you need it as well, especially you farmers in China, because you guys do things big. We're open for business. The United States doesn't want our heavy crude. Would you like it? We can give you a good deal on this. And all of a sudden, hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars are going out to the East. Or we just continue business with America. And you could say, hey, we're in a deficit. You guys owe us money and all this kind of stuff. Okay, well, what about the last 50 years? Again, speaking to my American friends, what about the last 50 years where you guys undercut us since the 70s? You undercut us with your eggs. American grade A eggs, cheaper than Canadian eggs. So we just bought your eggs for 50 years. That's billions of dollars out of our pocket. That's $50 billion out of our pocket. That went to you guys because you undercut us. So I say, okay, because I read this book. Where is it? Right here. This book. The Art of the Deal. This is from your president. I read that book. So if you've been undercutting us for 50 years with eggs, maybe we don't need to buy your eggs anymore. Maybe we need to encourage and give incentives for farmers to have chicken farms. Maybe we can be an exporter, a huge exporter of chickens. Maybe we can do that. Because you guys consume about, 275 eggs a year per person in the United States of America. If you average it out, which is about 90 some billion dollars you spend on, or 90 some billion eggs a year is what you guys consume. And yet you've slaughtered hundreds of thousands of chickens. The numbers aren't out. They're not releasing the numbers for 2024, but I can promise you that you guys are either you paid more for eggs or you ate less eggs this year than you did in 2024 or than you did in 2023 or arguably 2022. So there's a deficit there that you guys owe us for the last 50 years because you undercut us with eggs, most likely poultry, coming from America. So who's in a deficit with who? That's the question you got to ask yourself. You need to ask this to Donald Trump and say, hey, are we really in a deficit here? Or are you just trying to make the government rich, pockets rich? Your pockets are deeper pockets. What's going on here? Because I know if our government does the same thing as what your government does, we're in trouble as a Canadian society because our prices are going to go through the roof. But if we don't do the matching of tariffs, our prices won't go up. In fact, there's going to be a little bit of a demand. It might go down a little bit, but because there's a need, you're going to be faced with two bad choices. Do you go to Iran or do you go to Venezuela or Russia? You're going to go trade with Putin? Who are you going to trade with? When we have so many deals, we didn't even talk about energy. We didn't talk about the idea of what if we started to thread back the energy that we actually, our natural gas, our electricity that we guys give you in the East Coast for New York and all these other states. Yeah, that comes from Canada, a large percentage of it. So I don't know. I think we can play hardball with each other, or we can go, hey, you know what? Let's just cut our losses. You Canadians, you took some of our money because of poor deals, and then we can go, you Americans, you guys undercut us with eggs and probably a lot of other stuff. And you got to understand, you guys have over 300 million people. We only have 38. So yeah, there's a reason why you guys are needing to buy more stuff from us is because you're consuming more. If we were 38 million and you're 38 million and you're buying more of our stuff, then I would argue for you guys. I would say we need to buy more American. We got to catch up to these guys. They're buying way more stuff than us. But right now, because you guys are like 9 times greater than us, you're going to consume 9 times more than us, aren't you? You're going to consume a lot more food, a lot more potash, a lot more grain, a lot more canola oil, a lot more eggs. You're going to consume a lot more heavy oil because, again, you're trying to build your military complex bigger than anyone else. And you pride yourself on that. Oh, great. Let's support you on that. Let's sell you more of our oil, which is what your and 132 oil refineries need. So why don't we just give you what you need? Isn't that the art of the deal? Isn't that what the deal is? Let's make a deal. Let's negotiate. Let's just come to the drawing board here. Come on, guys. There's so many bigger things in life right now. Like there's WrestleMania coming up in April. Like that's a big deal. There's the Indianapolis 500 coming up. There's football, like the Super Bowl's coming up. Like you guys have so many things to do. You don't need to be wrestling with us. Come on. You don't need to deal with us like this. Come on. We don't need to be playing hardball with us, guys. Come on. Just get rid of the tariffs. Come on. Just come on. Do yourself a favor. All right. So that's kind of my little rant, if you will, as to what's going on right now with all these tariffs. Because again, if you're going to hear this in the news for weeks, the American agencies, all the American media outlets are going to be Canada's hitting back and all this kind of stuff. Look at your prices. It's not us. It's you guys. It's your government. They put the tariffs. Again, if you understand how tariffs work, all that means is the money coming in when you buy something from us, you buy a book from us. This is a bad example because this is your book. But you buy something from us, the government charges you, the consumer, an extra percentage, 25%, and then they put it into their coffers. It doesn't go back to you guys. So they basically, all government agencies, if you will, just got a raise, a 25% raise because Trump is in charge right now. So again, if that happens to us, it's going to exactly happen the same way to us. If our government says, let's hit them back with 25%, let's match them. Yeah, good luck. That's going to hurt us now. So, interesting, right? The tariffs are on pause. They're not necessarily on pause yet because that's not what Trump is talking about. Until the media stops talking about the tariffs, it's not on pause. So don't blame me. Don't blame me. It's in your media. If you just type in tariffs, it's everywhere. Every channel's talking about it and stuff, and they're blaming us because they keep saying we caused you guys to be in a deficit. And I'm like trying to explain to you that it's not just us that's doing this. You don't have any problem with China not buying any of your cars? Like that doesn't keep you up at night going, how come all our manufacturing went into Mexico and we're buying stuff from China? Why are we buying more stuff from China than they are from us? Doesn't anybody sit down and just think about that? Why are Canadians buying more cars and parts than China, who's like 1 billion people and they're only 38 million and they're buying more from us? Who's the bad guy here? It's not us Canadians. We're friends. You can trust us. It's the Chinese. They're quite happy buying cars from Europe. They don't mind buying expensive cars from Europe because every one of their people, young people, they want what you guys have, you Americans have. What do you guys have? Well, you have almost 2.5 cars per American. They want that. They've seen all the movies. And they're like, we want a piece of the pie. But they're not buying from you guys. They're buying from Europe. They're buying from South Korea. And they're buying from Japan. Doesn't that bother you guys that you're buying their cars? They're not buying your cars. That doesn't, you're not mad at them. You're mad at us. 10% tariffs on China, 25% on us. We buy more from you. Something's wrong there, folks. Doesn't add up. Doesn't add up. I seem to be disgruntled. No, man. I'm thinking clear. I'm thinking crystal clear here. I feel for my American friends. Because if the tariffs do continue to go through, you guys are going to feel it at the grocery store. You already don't have any eggs, especially in Phoenix. There's no eggs anywhere. Zero. Zilcho. I just had eggs upstairs. I have about 4 eggs a day. We have lots of eggs. You guys don't right now. And I feel for you because you're going to feel that at the grocery store when they do come in. You're going to be like shocked. $10 for a dozen eggs, American. What? That's crazy. They're like $3 or $2 or whatever they were a couple years ago. You're going to be shocked because the numbers are going to come out pretty soon with regards to how many chickens you guys actually slaughtered last year. They just don't feel it yet. There's a little bit of a delay, but we're okay right now. We're okay. We have oil. We have gas. We don't consume more oil than we need. We export more oil than we actually need. So we're okay. I worry about you guys because you consume twice the oil that you actually you need a certain amount of oil, and you actually consume twice as much. We consume half of what we need. So think about that after a while. It's going to catch up to you guys. Unless you start cutting corners and you're like, you know what, maybe we're not driving to work this week. Maybe we're going to stay home. Like, do you want to do that? Or do you want to put a little bit more pressure on your presidente to maybe cut back on the tariffs? Like 25% seems a little hard on us, which ultimately ends up being on you guys. But when you think about it on a grand scheme of things, you look at China, and you guys have always been against China. Why aren't you putting them at 25%? You're putting us at 25%. It's because you guys buy a lot from us as well. It only makes sense to put it on us because then when we pass it over to you and you guys actually buy our stuff, you're going to see the price increase. Not us. Not today. Anyways, making Canada 51st state? No, definitely not. We're actually in good shape. We're in good shape. We just need stronger leadership. That's all we need right now. So we're okay. If you think about it, if you go back to the War of 1812, if you know your history, we burnt down your White House once. You guys are 0-1 against the Canadians. So be careful. Like, I know we have a lot of comedians, but we can make you laugh your head off quite a bit. We're not such a pushover. We're very friendly, but we're not a pushover. Just think about Dieppe. Think about Razor Ruddock. Remember him? You don't remember him? He's a Canadian boxer that actually knocked out Tyson. Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? So we also have the greatest hockey players in the world: Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Sidney Crosby, 3-time Stanley Cup champion. Like, got the best tennis players in the world. We have maple syrup. You guys, I don't think you guys appreciate our inventions enough. We have the Canadian arm. What else did we invent for you guys? We invented a couple of things. What was it? There's a few things. It's not coming to my mind right now. But there's a few things that you guys use that we invented. My point is, we do need each other. We do. So this war game or whatever that we're playing, it's kind of weird. Like, we could be making so much money for both sides, Americans and Canadians, that we don't need to do it at the expense of each other. We don't. But I just think the playing hardball is going to get old, and it's only going to be the consumers that are going to be faced with this stuff. It's not going to be the government. They always seem to escape all this stuff. That's the crazy part. Threaten war? Well, dude, you have lost the plot. Do you want to threaten war? No, I'm just saying that you guys are 0-1. Historically, you guys are 0-1. Just like Japan is 0-1 or whatever they are with you guys. You guys are 0-1 with us. We kicked you out of Canada. You're trying to take over a country back in 1812, and we stormed all the way to your building and burnt it down. Sorry about that. It's not me. That was them back then. I'm just saying. Just saying. And don't forget, you can't necessarily threaten us either. Like you might like to think, oh, we could threaten you guys. You don't want worldwide sanctions on you guys from what? NATO. You don't want that to happen. And you don't want NATO to get involved and start protecting us as well. Because you think you're our protector, but actually we belong to NATO. So it's not easy for you guys to just go, oh, we're just going to storm them because they want to be the 51st state, or they don't want to be. We need to move in there. No, we're our own country. I don't think you guys understand that enough because it's all over the news and the media and it's kind of a joke and everything. Ha ha ha. But if you understand where we came from as Canadians, we have a lot of pride in our country. We love our country. It's beautiful. We just need stronger leadership. That's all. We don't need to be another country. Why don't you guys become part of Mexico? You don't want to be part of Mexico. Same thing with us. We don't want to be Americans. We don't mind visiting, just like you guys don't mind visiting Niagara Falls. You guys don't mind going to BC, the coast. You guys don't mind seeing our mountains. So we're stuck together. And there's a reason for it. I don't think it's to come at each other. So yeah. I know you guys. Trump has said that he's no longer a part of it because I think he felt like the whole world wasn't paying their dues. So that's up to you guys to decide whatever you guys want to do. But my point is, I think there's a way to make this work without the tariffs. Let's see here. Didn't Cartman sing a song? What's with all the pride and a piece of land? Are we not set apart, citizen? Well, it's not so much pride, it's more being pushed around. I think that's the thing, being pushed over. I think you Americans can probably appreciate that a little bit more because you separated from Great Britain. You separated from them because you didn't want to get pushed around by a king. So of all the countries in the world that can understand the idea of a country trying to bully you into submission or whatever, it would be you guys. You Americans would understand because you didn't want Great Britain to force you to be a part of them, to be a part of the Commonwealth. And I respect that. So you have to respect us, that not every country in the world wants to be an American. We don't mind visiting, but not everybody wants to be an American. Just like you guys, not everybody wants to be a Canadian. You don't mind working here. So I think that's my point that I'm trying to make. Trump is trying to fix. Yeah, I get it. But he's also making the government rich too, as well. We stand on guard for thee. Finally, a Canadian. Let's see here. What else do we got? Showing Trump, so don't take U.S. garbage. Canada showing Trump. Let's see what else we have. See, I'm just reading the comments now. I wonder what the real reason is. Well, on the surface, it kind of feels like he's going to increase the prices of everything that you guys buy so that you become a little bit more dependent on the government. And that's a play that our government would run. I still don't know why Trudeau went down there to Mar-a-Lago and all of a sudden he comes back and then it's like, I quit. It's almost like he got a job offer from someone, maybe the World Health or the World, what are they called? With Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum. Who knows? Let's see here. There will be a deal with Canada, I believe. Well, Trump is actually meeting. I think he met at 3:00 today with some of our politicians. Could have been one of our Alberta premiers, maybe Daniel Smith, possibly, or maybe he met with Ford. And I hope Ford doesn't come down hard as in, we're matching you at 25% tariffs, because Trump will say no to that right away. He will. So we'll see. It'd be interesting to see what kind of a deal is made. I hope there would be a deal made. I hope so. That'd be great. I'm Canada proud. Awesome. Metu. America rebelled. Canada asked politely to leave. Well, we're still part of, we still recognize the king and all this kind of stuff. He just kind of leaves us alone here. Everyone acts like Trump wasn't in office already. Let's see, what else do we have here? Don't know if you've seen, but Trudeau's agreed to increase border security. Fine. Yeah, like it makes sense. We don't want immigrants coming in from America, that come in from Mexico, that come in from South America, or wherever they come in from illegally. We don't want that. They're not coming from the coast. They're not coming on boats because it's too cold for that. So yeah, I think we need to step it up a little bit for sure, especially in Quebec, because they're just coming through in floods over there. Let's see here. I agree. I am a Trump fan more than a Trudeau fan. Yeah, and I haven't read any of Trudeau's books. I don't know if he has any, but I haven't. I've read all of Trump's stuff. I followed him for years. I know how this guy thinks. He wants a deal. He really wants a deal that's good for America. And I think I can respect that he wants a deal for America, but not at our expense, because we also want a good deal as well. Because a good deal really should be for both parties. It shouldn't be a win-lose. I don't think that's good. We stand on guard for free, for sure. Let's see here. What else? Let's see. I heard from different sources that the tariffs were put on hold after Trudeau sent 10,000 troops. That's interesting. All of a sudden, it's like, hey, we're going to hold off on that. Let's see here. That's the British, not Canada, but rise history. Yeah, well, basically, it's kind of the same. We're part of the Commonwealth. We're Canadians, but we still pay something to the king. We're not totally independent like you guys. We have a puppet prime minister. And yeah, so we would be considered part of the Commonwealth. Let's see. Buy baby chicks, reap the eggs. Yeah, I think if I was a Canadian, man, I am a Canadian. I meant if I was interested in farming, if I wasn't, how do you say, past the prime, I would be I'd be starting a little chick farm. Because I think there's going to be a demand for eggs. As long as we don't keep buying American eggs and then get all of our chickens sick from American eggs. You guys have the flu, avian flu. Let's see what else is here. Let's see. Mexican troops as well. Wow, they sent troops to the border as well. Crazy, eh? Love you, brother Shane. Love all my brothers and sisters. Yes, I do know my history. Canada too. Awesome. Canada too. Cool. All right. So hopefully I presented enough of a case for my Canadian friends to say, you know what, we want the Black Swan as the prime minister. We want him to be the prime minister. If not, oh well. What can I say? I tried really hard. But I thought I would mention all this stuff because it's complex, because we're so intertwined, Canada and the US. So I appreciate you guys for watching the channel. Thank you guys for subscribing, and I'll see you guys in another video. if there's anything that you see coming down the pipes as well, let me see if I got my email here. Just email me at Black Swan Diary 2022 at gmail.com. Right here. Boom. If you have any questions, if you have some video clips about some of the planes that went down in Philly, or perhaps some new information in regards to the Washington, D.C. Accident, or the the plane crash with the helicopter and the plane, let me know that as well. You can always email me. And if you have any questions about what I talked about today as well, you can do that. You can also email me there. If you just want to chit chat by email, you can do that as well. So thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate you a lot. And I'll see you in another video. Bye for now. Ciao. Have a good day. See you later.